the 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 main thing. So I'll start with the mushroom compounds. So there was a few in there, but I just kind of lumped them together as mushroom compounds to talk about. And essentially the research and into the activity and what they do into the body, just summed up, is they're amazing with the immune system. So immune regulation and actually the anti-inflammatory function as well. So the main active ingredient within these combinations of mushrooms is an amino acid bound polysaccharide, which the main component being beta glucans. And beta glucans are just this amazing immune compound that has just amazing evidence in so many conditions now, and really benefit and support your body in exercise, in recovery, because stress, exercise, everything can impact your immune system, and this is what's going to keep that immune system functioning as well as we can hope. James, did you have anything to add, or shall I move on?
So with this product, let's talk a little bit about why people are getting such results, or like about the vitamin B12, the B1, the B5. Is it B5 that it is? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of Bs that cross over.
So what do they do in the body? Like, I heard that it's a B5 is kind of like the happy vitamin. It makes you feel better.
Yeah, so I'll talk generically about all Bs, because all like the products that we've tried to go through tonight, they all have B vitamins in them as well. So starting at the top, so in terms of B vitamins, that group, you have B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, and B12. So B1, generally that's associated with stress and cortisol. So deficiencies in B1 have really been linked with increased what we call corticosteroid levels or cortisol levels. B1 is also associated in what we call metabolic acidosis. So that's just inflammation essentially within the body. Moving on to B2, again, deficiencies present with high stress conditions. So supplementing it is really going to help the stress response. It's also going to help with fatty acid oxidation. So what does that mean? It means fat loss. It's going to help with inflammation as well, and also plays a role with anemia. So that's where it can be contributing to fatigue and energy as well. B3 actually helps repair DNA. So that's where we're moving into those genes, that mitochondria, which then will affect fatigue, energy, vitality, metabolism, all those sorts of things. It also supports the metabolism of cholesterol, so fatty acids, which then can be used in energy and can also be excreted from the body. It also supports what we call beta cell function. If you know anything about insulin issues, blood sugar issues, they all relate to an organ called the pancreas. And the cells that are actually attributed to those poor functions is what we call the beta cells. So they actually support beta cell function. What that means is they're going to help improve glucose regulation, insulin, all those sorts of things. B5, as I said, like the happy, the stress response, those sort of things. So again, that plays a role with the adrenals, which is where you're producing cortisol. So B5, very, very important in managing stress, reducing cortisol, things like that. B6 is a big one. So it's cofactor in what we call neurotransmitters such as GABA, serotonin, dopamine. Essentially what all those do is they help your mood, help you feel happy. You know them as endorphins in the brain. My mum used to call them the dolphins in the brain. So essentially the happy hormones swimming around up there. B6 is very, very important for that. Another thing that B6 is important for is hormones, the production of hormones. And it is also important for the conversion of thyroid hormones, which relates heavily with metabolism and weight loss. So hypothyroidism, which is very, very common, nowadays due to stress, environment, so many different factors. You have an issue converting what we call inactive thyroid hormone or T4 to active thyroid hormone or T3. B6 is used in that, as are many other nutrients that are in the products that we're going to discuss tonight. Another big one, B12. So just first off, deficiency can present with elevated cortisol levels, but B12 is vital for so many functions throughout your body, including but not limited to producing adrenal hormones, so balancing stress and cortisol and all those things, metabolizing other nutrients such as folate, and we all know how important folate is for pregnant women and babies, neural tube defects, things like that. It's also important for digestion and metabolism with fats and carbohydrates, so then affecting metabolic flexibility and fat loss. It's important in the formation of red blood cells, which help to carry oxygen around our bodies, which leads to energy and vitality, things like that. Leading from that, it increases and helps with iron absorption, proper blood circulation, reproductive health, gut microbiome, nervous system function, so stress, happiness, mood, nerve growth and function. A lot of the time we'll see B12 deficiencies when you start to get those tingling nerve down your leg, those sorts of things, and numb feet. It can be a range of different other things, but that's quite common. So nerve conduction, and that's important because that's essentially how your body talks to other parts of your body and signals to other parts of your body as well, is those nerves. B12 is also important for DNA and also regulation and coordination of cell growth. And that's just the B vitamin section, James, of the Empact.
Hi, Jess. I think James just had to go to the bathroom.
Fair enough.
Oh, no, you're not supposed to say that on the webinar. Far out.
What was I going to say? You have to go out. Where?
Where's your discipline, James? Can't you hold it?
Exactly.
Well, you were talking for so long.
Oh, well.
I'm joking. Oh, wow, that's funny. Talk about putting me in the hot. Jess, that is awesome. What we'll do is, first of all, before we go, who's had a testimony from Impact Plus? First, have you got? So, Jess, you've got more to say on this, haven't you?
Absolutely. I can definitely, like, the other really important things, obviously all the nutrients and ingredients are important in this product, but the big ones, the BCAAs concept, which you'll see on the bottom kind of right of the screen, my right anyway, and the electrolyte section as well, are very, very important parts of that product.
Okay, so what we might do, Jess, because it is getting late, I know everyone, what I love to do is leave people wanting more. And so, okay, but when a couple of people ask questions like, okay, what are BCAA?
Okay, so quickly put, as I said at the beginning of this whole talk, there's a lot to this. It's not as simple as we all think. But quickly, BCAA stands for branched chain amino acids. So if you know anything about protein, we've talked about this. Amino acids are essentially what makes up proteins. Proteins make up our body. But BCAAs are a group of 3 essential amino acids. What I mean by essential is your body can't make them. So it needs to ingest them somehow through food, through supplements. If they're non-essential, it means your body is able to break them down and make them in the body somehow. So they contain 3, leucine, isoleucine, and valine. And essentially, BCAA supplements are commonly taken in order to boost muscle growth and enhance exercise performance. They may also help with weight loss and reduce fatigue after exercise, and very important for helping to maintain muscle and like all those other things in terms of fat loss.
Okay,
I can go on, but I'm going to stop there.
No, that's great, Jess. So this is really a great product for not only for those people that are an athlete or very active, but people that aren't that active, or even people like that are wanting to lose weight because of the nutrition, the benefits of them supporting their journey or their fat loss journey.
Absolutely.
With that, Okay. All right. Now, I know I'm getting, yeah. So people are asking more, but I think we have to leave it there. Because, so Jess, if I'm going to change the webinar around a little bit. So Jess, if you're available, would you be open to do this again next Monday night? But let's go more into the ingredients, and see how we can, and maybe figure out a way for us to put it down into bite-sized pieces. I really like that. So we can go more into that. Now, we've got a few questions as well. Now, if Jess is available next week, great. If not, we'll look for another time.
Jane, just quickly, I would love to do it again. But as you very well know, the next 2 Mondays are out. I have to be at the Dojang to kick your butt.
You are coming to that, are you? Bugger.
Yes.
Okay. Just so you know, Jess is, for those of you who don't know, Jess is a black belt in Hapkido, and she really does want to beat me up. And she is an incredible fighter. I call her the juggernaut. She just keeps coming at me and just doesn't. And I was like, oh man, she doesn't stop. And anyway, so we're going to actually. Oh, gee, okay. We've got so much more to cover, like electrolytes, how that all works.
As I said, this is a massive topic, and one webinar, like, this is me really cutting down information as well, but there's just so much to it, and happy to do more. I just love talking about this stuff, but whatever works best for everybody.
We might do something on a Saturday morning. Maybe we plan that out. Well, let's talk a little bit more of that. I'll talk to the other leaders as well. Let's answer some of the questions here. If someone is iron deficient, is the iron in Empact enough? I don't have the amount of iron that's on it. I'm not sure if you've got any information there on that, Jess.
Unfortunately, I don't have the exact amounts on me. Iron deficient. It really does depend. This is where you really do need to see, or someone like me, plug, would need to see their pathology and see what spectrum they're at in terms of how deficient they are. And that's where you can play around with dosing as well, and extra supplements if need be, to benefit that supplement even more.
Great. Okay. So Karen Newman's asked, is Empact used only after? Well, it's actually it's a pre, mid, and post-workout drink, Karen. So you have it before, mid, and after. But the way I take it, Jess, is if I'm doing something early in the morning, then I don't have it. But it has a compounding effect in the body, from what I've been told. I'm not exactly sure how it has that compounding effect, except for storing up nutrients in the body. But what I do is I have it 2 or 3 times a day at the moment, because of the amount of exercise I'm doing. And so, but I know a lot of people have it whenever they need it during the day as well. Would that be what you would recommend?
Yeah, you're definitely right. It would compound. So one of the benefits of BCAAs is, as we know, increasing muscle mass, but also reducing fatigue and even soreness post-training. So the key thing is to just essentially just start it and taking it, because those levels of those nutrients and minerals and everything are going to build up in your body and what we call saturate within your body, and it's then going to start utilizing those day to day. In terms of also the electrolyte function of it, this is where having it after intense sessions is also going to be highly advisable, just for hydration and different things like that.
Yeah. So, guys, just so you know, I am exercising a lot right now, and I drink it twice a day. And because, for me personally, and I'm using it pretty much after I work out and also during my workout. And then when I am running classes, my classes go, like, you've got 4 hours worth of classes. I'll have it halfway through the classes I run, getting ready for my adults class, because that's where I, as Jess knows, we get to have a little bit of fun. So that's for me personally. Now, another question here from Dion. She's gone, if your adrenals are producing not enough cortisol, will the passion flower act as an adaptogen?
Work as an adaptogen?
Yeah.
Is that the question?
Yeah,
okay,
if
so
your adrenals are producing not enough cortisol.
Put simply, the herbal actions of passion flower, so the Latin, just to impress everybody, Passiflora incarnata, the main actions are what we call like a sedative and anxiolytic, not to be confused with sedative and anxiolytic and hypnotic versions of like pharmaceuticals. They work in a more relaxing way, so to help your body handle anxiety, stress, help you sleep, things like that. One of its main that is not necessarily considered an adaptogen in itself. That is a herbal action that some other herbs and things do actually have as one of its main actions. Indirectly, I would consider it adaptogenic though, because it does help your body deal with stress. It helps your body get rest and things like that, so that you are better able to function day after day and more balance out those hormones. So indirectly, I would, yes, call it adaptogen, but in terms of being precise and scientific, it's not an actual primary action of that herb.
Okay, and so awesome. Now, what is an adaptogen? I mean, just so everyone knows.
Essentially, an adaptogen is a hug in a mug. Is the best way. It just helps support your body when stress is taking a toll, when cortisol function is either like low or high. It helps regulate and modulate those functions. So you really are just wrapping yourself in a big cuddly blanket and taking care of those aspects of your body, essentially.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Now, what Paul asked, another Paul asked
I'm like,
about
what?
protein.
Like, he's not on this.
I know. Protein intake and plateaus.
Yes.
Like, so would you mind, how important is protein to break a plateau if it's required, or is the plateau really linked to how much energy you're putting in versus how much energy is going out?
Yeah, so similar in terms of like dietary planning, the basic recommendation is protein is what you don't mess with. You mess with the other macronutrients, the carbohydrate and the fat intake. In terms of plateaus, you really want to keep that protein intake stable because it is helping with muscle repair. That being said, numerous studies and show you can only actually digest a certain amount of protein in one sitting, like metabolize it. For muscle synthesis and like muscle gain, they're saying it can be anything as like to 20% of your calorie intake. So if you follow macronutrient dietary planning, or 20 to 30 grams of protein, and you'll find in that protein powder it's actually is 20 grams of protein. So all that is utilized, but you can actually use more protein. It goes towards other functions in the body as well. So in terms of breaking a plateau, you will then mess around with your carbohydrate and fat intake, or even keep things stable and play around with your activity and your incidental exercise, because at the end of the day, you want to be consuming as many calories as you can to achieve your goals for your metabolism and healthy metabolism. And if you can burn a few extra calories from exercise before you then have to play around with the amount of calories you eat to get a result, that is actually more recommended and more beneficial.
Okay, all right. So it's really about, okay, so plateaus come from, it's not about the protein, it's about the fats and the carbohydrates that the person is actually digesting. Got it. Yeah, Paulie got that. Good. Everyone's saying this is awesome, Jess, just so you know. All right. I think we've answered all of that. Now, I want to, Naomi used to get nerve pain in her feet, but since taking Empact Plus, she doesn't get that anymore. And so that would probably be linked to the B12, hey, because of
I would obviously there's a few things. You've got your magnesium, your calcium, they all work as relaxing agents in your body, well, many other functions, but relax muscle, relax pain, reset, all those sorts of things, and that's how they can help with muscle soreness and everything like that. But the B12, especially with that nerve signaling and the nerve conductivity, absolutely.